This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good late afternoon, everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're on our way to Chento, and it's really a remarkable privilege to be headed to Chento, where we're going to visit the kever of one of the all-time great Mekubalim. The great Tzadikim say about the Mishnas Chasidim, Rabbi Imanuel Riki, that he's the final word on Kabbalah. What the Rambam did to the Torah Sheba'al Peh, Rabbi Imanuel Riki did to the writings of the Rambam, to the writings of the Arizal. So something is only as good as the preparation you put into it. I want to share with you some choice Divrei Torah from Rabbi Imanuel Riki before we go to the kever. Rabbi Imanuel Riki wrote a sefer on Mishnas called Hain Ashir, the wealth of the wealthy man. Hain Ashir. By the way, first he had in mind to call it Dikduke Anios, a more humble name. And an incident happened. He was leaving Eretz Yisrael. He comes to Chutz Aretz, and he was hijacked by pirates. And they took all his belongings, and he attributed it to the fact that he gave such a somewhat demeaning name to his sefer, wanting to call it Dikduke Anios, and he changed the name to Hain Asher. Okay, so start with Chiddush number 1. Asks Rabbi Imanuel Riki, why does Shas begin with Hilchos Kriya Shema? Me'emasai Karna Shema Ba'arvin. Says the Hain Asher, an idea that's brought in many Svarim. The Chidush Shiurim says this in the Sefer HaZchus. The Tosfos Anshe Shem brings this in the name of the Ab Bezin of Lublin. The Sefer Imrei Yitzchak brings in the name of his grandfather, the Kol Aryeh, in the name of Reb Shalom of Kaminka. And last but not least, this idea is also brought in the Tzidkas HaTzadik of Reb Tzadok HaKohen, that the reason why Shas begins with Kriya Shema is because a bar mitzvah boy, upon turning 13 years old, the very first mitzvah he becomes obligated in is Kriya Shema. But Rabbi Imanuel Riki adds a very beautiful detail. Why does the Mishnah say, Me'emasai karna shema ba'arvin, misha shehakohanim nechnasin lecha b'trumasan? Why is the Zman Kriya Shema dependent on Truma? What is the connection between Truma and Kriya Shema? Says Rabbi Imanuel Riki, the connection is that Truma is Rashis. Truma is the beginning, the very first. Likewise, says Imanuel Riki, Kriya Shema is the first mitzvah that a bar mitzvah boy becomes chayiv in. By the way, it's interesting, Reb Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin wrote a sefer called Meishiv Tzedek. Meishiv Tzedek. And in the back of the Meishiv Tzedek, they published the bar mitzvah drasha that Reb Tzadok HaKohen gave at his own bar mitzvah. And Reb Tzadok HaKohen deals with the question that the Shach in Choshen Mishpat, Siman Lamed Hey, deals with. By the way, if you want to join us for upcoming trip, we'll be visiting the kever of the Shach. The Shach wants to know.
Japan?
Yeah, it's near Japan. It's more in. It's the Shach wants to know. Let's say a bar mitzvah boy is born at. Let's say he was born 10 a.m. When does he become bar mitzvah? Does he become bar mitzvah at 13 years old at 10 a.m. or already the night before he becomes bar mitzvah? Says Reb Tzadok HaKohen, it has to be the bar mitzvah boy becomes bar mitzvah in the night, irrespective of when he was born. Why? Because if the whole reason why Shas begins Me'emasai Karna Shema is because that's the first mitzvah that a bar mitzvah boy is chayiv in, well, that's only his first mitzvah if he was born in the nighttime. But what if he was born during the day? It must be irrespective of when a boy is born, his bar mitzvah will always be in the nighttime. And so concurs the Noda B'Yehuda Ma'adura Tinyan Rachem Siman Vav, and that this is the minhag in B'Medinas Ashkenaz. Likewise, the Stei Chemed and Rabbi Kiva Eger also writes that you could rely on this psak even for the Oraisa. Okay, Moshe Kibel Torah Misinai. Ask Rabbi Imanuel Riki, why Moshe Kibel Torah Misinai? Why not Moshe Kibel HaTorah Misinai? Says Imanuel Riki, Because the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says, Chamishem Shiurim Nivru Ba'ilam. There are 50 gates of wisdom. Kulam Nitnu L'Moshe Chasar Achas. They're all given to Moshe except for one. So therefore it doesn't say Moshe Kibel HaTorah, but Moshe Kibel Torah. You see, when I speak, I require even all the tour guides to listen, okay? Yeah, thank you. So, I'm saying over Rabbi Imanuel Riki. Imanuel Riki says, that's why it says Moshe Kibel Torah, not Kibel HaTorah. And finally, Al Shloisha Dvarim Ha'olam Oimed, Al HaTorah, V'al HaAvoda, V'al Gemilas Chasidim. As for Imanuel Riki, Torah Lashon Yachid, Avoda Lashon Yachid. Why is Gemilas Chasidim Lashon Rabbim? He says very simply, Torah you can learn on your own. Tefillah you can daven on your own. Gemilas Chasidim, you need a noisein, you need a makabel, you need a giver, you need a recipient. Therefore, the Tana uses a Lashon Rabbim, Gemilas Chasidim. Some Divrei Torah from Rabbi Imanuel Riki, Be'ezus Hashem, will be zoicha to daven at his kever. All the tefillah should be niskabel, barachmim, v'ratzain.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.